Hello and welcome to our English news edition broadcast to you from Canal, Algérie. First, to the headlines. The President of the Republic, Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, will preside on Thursday a special meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted to the examination and debate of the draft of the new investment law. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, addresses a message to the Algerian students on the occasion of their National Day, in which he wishes them more success in order to become the founders of Algeria. On Thursday, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, chaired over the Algerian-Turkish Business Forum, during which he called on the economic operators to seize the investment opportunities offered by the Algerian market. The Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saeed Shingri, starts a working and inspection visit to the military region in Constantine province, where he affirmed that the Algerian people is well aware of the conspiracies being orchestrated against it. Good evening, those were today's top stories. First, of the Republic, Supreme Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, will preside on Thursday a special meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted to the examination and debate of the draft of the new investment law. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, addressed a message on the occasion of the National Day of the Student, celebrated on May 19th of each year, in which he said that this day is an opportunity for students to renew the oath of their predecessors, those university and high school students who started the strike on that memorable day, 1956. Making this event the starting point of the Maquis and engage in the armed struggle. This latter was enriched by a scientific competence that strongly consolidated the revolution. Today, while being proud of the achievement of the university, each year with the consecutive promotions of graduates, the number of which is close to 5 million since independence, we hail the role accomplished by the actors of the university family in the development of this sector by deploying efforts and considerable contributions to the service of the Algerian University by testifying to important achievements, among which the building of national high schools in scientific specialties, the promotion of poles of excellence already operational, the creation of new laboratories of research, raising the level of pedagogical work, improving the quality of training and the skills of graduates. All this is to help the university to adopt free thinking, serene dialogue, constructive criticism, openness to its environment by creating bridges with economic, cultural and social enterprises, and subsequently to the outside world as well, by interacting with major universities and acquire many achievements in the field of scientific research. And to achieve these goals, we have given all the attention to the educational sector in a framework of a vision that is consistent with the changes taking place in the world and the advances in knowledge and technology based on investment in the human capital, for it is the real wealth and one of the most important elements on which the building of the new Algeria will be based, counting on the competences and skills of its youth. On the occasion of the National Day of Students, this day which is a witness of the commitment of our students to join the armed struggle, and at a time when we celebrate with pride this historical event, I address my sincere congratulations to my daughters and children students, wishing them success and distinction so they become the founders of the new Algeria, armed with science, technology and knowledge, and faithful to the oath of the martyrs and their message. Long live Algeria, glory to our valiant martyrs. The visit of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, carried out in Turkey is highly important when it comes to the relations between the two countries. On the third and last day, the President of the Republic chaired over the Algerian-Turkish Business Forum in the presence of the Turkish Vice President, Fuat Oktay, businessmen, investors and economic operators from the two countries. The forum was marked by the intervention of the President, who called on businessmen to seize seize the investment opportunity offered by the Algerian market for the creation of companies and the launch of investment projects. The president then highlighted the state's efforts in improving the business climate and attract investors via the revision of the investment code, which will be later on submitted in the Council of Ministers in the coming days. The President of the Republic called on the economic operators to invest in the different fields while reaffirming that the door is open to all beneficial investments.
اليوم مع أخي فخامة الرئيس سي طيب أردوغان نحاول بقدر الاستطاع أننا نبلغكم المشعل والشحنة اللي حابينها يعني تكون بين البلدين في إطار استثمار مربح للجميع. فيه عينات تاع استثمار تكون منها من الصلب بالنسبة للسوشيالي، بالنسبة للملابس، بالنسبة في عدة قطاعات. بدال الأمور تمشي فيما يخص الفلاحة شيء طيب، ربما غدا أو بعد غد نمر إلى صناعة الجرارات والأدوات الفلاحية وغيرها. الباب مفتوح. أمس مضينا بتقريبا 16 اتفاقية تضاف إلى الاتفاقيات اللي مضيناها مع أخي فخامة الرئيس أردوغان في الجزائر في 2020، وستضاف لها كذلك اتفاقيات أخرى من خلالكم أنتم رجال الأعمال الركيزة الصلبة للتعامل بين البلدين.
The President of the Republic then highlighted the state's efforts to provide a better climate for the investment.
احنا على وشك تصويت أو تقرير مجلس الوزراء على قانون الاستثمار الجديد بعد 10 أيام 15 يوم أعتقد. أعتقد أن القانون سيكون في خدمة الاستثمار والمستثمرين، سيفتح آفاق ويحمي كل المستثمرين. أنا أعرف كنت في قطاع السكن وبعد قطاع السكن قطاع تجاري، فيه تذمر تاع بعض الأشقاء من بعض المعاملات هذه ننسوها خلاص. الجزائر الجديدة اللي نتكلموا عليها جزائر العرق، جزائر الشفافية، جزائر تاع الناس اللي مالهم حلال.
The President of the Republic then highlighted the need to make an industrial and economic leap, indicating that Algeria has been able to achieve a growth rate of 3% at a time when the world economy is slowing down.
والمنتدى نتاعكم هذا داخل في السنة الاقتصادية، وتكون فيه منتديات أخرى نطور الاقتصاد الجزائري مع الأشقاء أولا، مع الأصدقاء كذلك من بعد. المهم أننا نصل إلى وتبة مش نهضة، وتبة صناعية في الجزائر. على هذا الأساس مبرمجين، وانتم عارفين، انتم أدرى منا بما يجري في العالم في المال والأعمال، أن العالم كله يعرف ركود حاليا. احنا بالعكس، الآخرين راهم في الركود، احنا نكونوا في الانطلاقة. وحتى المؤسسات الدولية الاقتصادية والمالية تعترف أن الجزائر في سنة 2022 يكون فيها نسبة نمو تساوي 3%، تقريبا 3. احنا نتمناها أكثر، لأن مع الأسف فيه تعتيم على كل ما يجري في الجزائر.
In a keynote speech following his award of a PhD honoris causa by the Istanbul University, the President of the Republic affirmed that this award reflects the bonds of brotherhood between Algeria and Turkey.
إنني وإذ قلدتموني شهادة الدكتوراه الفخرية لجامعة اسطنبول لأتوشح جميلكم هذا بامتنان بالغ، ولأحمل في نفسي ما حييت تقديرا معلنا لهذا البلد العريق وأبنائه، فالشكر في حقكم والثناء على ما تفضلتم به واجب.
The President of the Republic also stressed the importance of encouraging exchange with Turkish and Algerian universities and the state's strategy in opening up to all the universities around the world.
اليوم تواجدنا في جامعة عريقة مثل جامعة اسطنبول لنا ما نقدم، كذلك لنا ما نقدم بالتعاون بالتقارب بين الجامعات. مثل ما قلت وأكرر ما قلت أن أساس الحرية والتنمية وكل شيء والانعتاق من العبودية هو التعليم، ولا شيء آخر غير التعليم. هذا ما عرفته تركيا وهذا ما نعرفه نحن اليوم. أتمنى إن شاء الله العلاقات بين جامعات الجزائر والجامعات التركية تتكثف. شخصيا كرئيس جمهورية أخذت قرار وبلغناه السيد وزير التعليم العالي والسادة عمداء الجامعات أن الجامعة اليوم في الجزائر مستقلة تختار توأمة لتساعدها. من يريد الجامعة التي تريد توأمة مع اسطنبول فلها ذلك، ومن تريد التوأمة مع القاهرة فلها ذلك، ومن تريد التوأمة مع لاسوربون فلها ذلك، حتى نتفتح نهائيا على عالم العلم.
In another context, the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman chaired on Wednesday a government meeting held at the government palace. Several files were discussed by the members of the government, namely in the agricultural and rural development sectors. The government examined a draft executive decree concerning the allocation of a plot of land amounting to 45 hectares located in the area of Buderhim for the benefit of the city park of the municipalities of Khenchla and Hamma, located in Khenchla province. Moreover, the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development made a presentation on the achievements made by the Bureau of Industrial Agriculture Development in desert lands. Following the presentation, the Prime Minister recalled the President of the Republic's instructions concerning the strategic role played by the Office of Industrial Agriculture Development in desert lands, as well as the efforts deployed for its establishment, notably providing it with the necessary human and material resources. Finally, the Prime Minister instructed the Minister of Agriculture, in accordance with the President of the Republic's guidelines, to expand the area intended for the Bureau while ensuring its allocation to investors by the end of the current year. The Finance Minister, for his part, made a presentation concerning the progress of the projects related to opening bank agencies abroad, a project that is part of the implementation of the government's plans, notably in the aspects related to accompany economic operators and guide the trade exchanges flow and the banking of the Algerian residents' savings abroad. The Prime Minister then highlighted the importance of this project, which constitutes a real opportunity to show Algeria's economic skills, notably at the African level, noting that the first phase of this project has to be finalized before the end of the current year. In another development, the Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Lieutenant General Saeed Shingari, has started on Wednesday a working and inspection visit to the 5th Military Region in Constantine Province. On this occasion, the Chief of Staff will hold an orientation meeting with the personnel of this region. Ines Killu has the details.
After the welcoming ceremony presided over by Major General Nordin Hambali, commander of the 5th Military Region, and in company of the Major General Hasnat Belqasem, the acting head of the Employment and Preparation Department of the AMP staff, the Lieutenant General, Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Said Shingriha, held a meeting with the executives and personnel, followed by video conference, in which he stressed that the Algerian people are clever enough to understand all the conspiracies that are being hatched against them, both in the public and private spheres. And this is how they were able to thwart with wisdom and foresight all the maneuvers aimed at plunging the country into chaos, according to obscure agenda. He added that Algeria is the land of great resistance and sacrifice, which knows well the value of national sovereignty, independence, security and stability, because Algeria suffered from the scourge of barbaric terrorism, which has now become a global phenomenon that poses serious threat to the security and stability of peoples and even to their national independence and sovereignty. Eager to preserve this sovereignty and this independence, which we are preparing to celebrate the 60th anniversary of their restoration, the Algerian people are united, faithful to themselves, imbued with their national values, clever enough to understand from all angles the conspiracies that are being hatched against them in the public and private spheres. Thus, they were able, with wisdom and insight, to thwart all maneuvers aimed at plunging the country into chaos, endangering its territorial and popular unity, and undermining the foundations of the nation-state in the service of obscure agendas and objectives. This is undeniable proof of the cohesion of our people, always vigilant to the schemes of these enemies. The Lieutenant General underlined that the achievements recorded throughout the military regions in terms of the fight against terrorism, the defeat of all attempts to provide the latter with weapons and financial means, all testify to the dedicated efforts unceasingly made by the National People's Army. He added that there is no doubt that our combined efforts at the national level, especially in the field of eradicating despicable terrorism from our blessed land, will contribute to eliminate of this cross-border phenomenon and also in strengthening the general efforts made at the regional and international levels. Indeed, the achievements recorded at the level of all military regions in the field of the fight against terrorism, the defeat of the attempts to provide it with arms, supply and financial means, as well as the dismantling of its support network, particularly among drug traffickers and organized crime leaders, all testify to the sincere and dedicated efforts unceasingly made by the National People's Army in accordance with the orientations of the President of the Republic, Supreme Chief of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense. Thereafter, the Lieutenant General followed with interest the interventions and proposals of the executives of the region before proceeding to the inspection of some units of the division, where he gave a series of orientations and recommendations, emphasizes the need to continue with the required rigor combat readiness efforts in the 2021-2022 Force Readiness Directive, which aims to enable the Battle Corps of the National People's Army to achieve a level of excellence in all fields.
In other news, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, Mamara, received Viktor Bondarev, President of the Committee on Defense and Security of the Russian Parliament, who is on a working visit to Algeria. The chairman of the Committee on National Defense, Youssef Massar, accompanied by members of the Commission, chaired a working session with the parliamentary delegation of the Committee on Defense and Security in the Federal Council of the Federal Assembly of Russia, led by the President of the Committee, Viktor Bondarev. The Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad Minister Mtal Amamra held discussions with his Saudi counterpart Prince Faisal bin Farhan. The meeting was held following the third session of the Political Consultation Committee between the two countries, the holding of which is expected on Thursday under the chairmanship of the two ministers. During the second and last day of the International Symposium of the Friends of the Algerian Revolution, the participants highlighted the human dimension of the liberation war, which attracted the support of people around the world. They also stressed that the National Liberation War was a crucial step in the history of the struggle against colonialism during the 20th century. Within the framework of the fight against terrorism and organized crime, units and detachments of the National People's Army carried out several operations across the national territory from the 11th to the 17th of the current month. These operations led to high-quality results, which reflects the professionalism and vigilance of our armed forces. The details with Melissa Kebash.
Within the framework of the fight against terrorism, detachments of the National People's Army arrested 7 individuals supporting terrorist groups in separate operations carried out across the national territory, while another detachment seized in the province of Elysee 2 submachine guns type Kalashnikov and a quantity of ammunition. 2 homemade bombs were also discovered and destroyed in the province of Batna and Puira. Concerning the fight against organized crime and in continuity with the intense efforts aimed at countering the scourge of narco-trafficking in our country, detachments of the National People's Army have arrested, in coordination with various security services at the level of the 2nd and 3rd military regions, 14 drug traffickers and thwarted attempts to smuggle huge quantities of drugs across the borders with Morocco, amounting to 15 quintals and 11 kilograms of cannabis. 22 other narco-traffickers were arrested and 25 kilograms of cannabis and 119,067 psychotropic tablets were seized during various operations carried out across other military regions. In addition, the National Gendarmerie of Oran province apprehended 1 individual, discovered a firearm repair workshop and recovered 4 hunting rifles, 2 shotguns, 16 handicraft rifles alongside spare parts of fire guns and other tools used in the maintenance of weapons. The detachments of the National People's Army also intercepted in the provinces of Tamanrasset, Borj Mukhtar, Ain Gazzam, Janet and Tindouf 202 individuals and seized 26 vehicles, 219 generators, 139 jackhammers, 55 metal detectors, quantities of explosives, detonating tools, equipment used in illegal gold mining operations, and 46 tons of mixed raw gold and stones. 3 other individuals were apprehended and 4 hunting rifles, 3,000 cartridges, 62,300 packets of cigarettes, 31,204 units of different beverages, and 42.5 tons of foodstuffs intended for smuggling were seized in Bargla, Al-Wad, Biskra, Adrar, Tibissa, and Borj Mukhtar provinces. For their part, the border guards thwarted attempts to smuggle large quantities of fuel, amounting to 13,592 liters into Tibissa, Taraf, and Souq provinces. Finally, the Coast Guard thwarted at the level of our national coasts attempts of illegal immigration and rescued 86 individuals on board homemade boats, while 147 illegal immigrants from different nationalities were arrested throughout the national territory.
And we wrap up our today's news with sports. And as part of the match week 22 of the Algerian Football League 1 competition, CR Belouizdad won AS City 1-0. The game went nil until the 95th minute when Abderrahman Boudreim brilliantly executes the free kick and makes the difference at the very last seconds of the game. A very important result that comforts CRB with 6 points ahead of GS Kabylie, which is ranked just second right behind.
سؤالا عن قبل تنفيذ المخالفة وجاء الجواب سريعا من عمار بوديم. دخلت الكرة من عمار أم سددها أو من سجلها هو بوراس.
And with that, our today's news edition comes to a close. Thank you for joining us.